Hello dear traders, petar.jacimovic here from vikefinancials.com. I want to post the update and speak about also my mentorship program, but I will start with update. First I will start with update of the British pound USD, since I didn't post the video for this. If you follow my trading journal on the Forex Factory thread, the Art of Trading Better Serbia, you already know that I exited here with a profit of 240 pips. The risk was about 70 pips in this setup, and this worked very well. So this was a classic distribution, bearish flag. I used the combination of the day the breakout happened. This breakout basically happened when we got a lot of speeches from from key FOMC members and also Bank of England members as well, and supply came in. Successful breakout happened. There is actually fundamental value of this breakout, and this is what I really like to understand the reasoning. I will not even speak about Brexit and every word from every important person in the Great Britain about the Brexit is basically disaster for British pound USD, because it's just going lower on any mentioning of Brexit from the speeches. This is creates a very strong liquidity on the British pound, right? So this was a classic setup, classic distribution breakout, fundamental value. As I teach my students and as I speak on my journal, I trade like I need to understand the fundamentals. I need to understand the market sentiment before I even before I even establish setup like technically. In my opinion, technical analysis is like let's say like 20-30% is technical analysis, and like 70 to 80% is the fundamental analysis and sentiment analysis, right? To analyze the reasons what caused the price and what caused the demand or supply, which I will explain you very soon in the Euro USD particular setup. This is more also short-term oriented on the Euro USD. So short-term oriented, you will see the short-term setup oriented, let's say that way. So this is about the British pound. As I close this right now, I want to pause it. I also got this buying Euro New Zealand dollar. Now price is testing this daily average here is 50, right? And we are in some kind we are in equilibrium to the sideways. See this one? So this is a clear sideways market here on the Euro New Zealand dollar. I'm right now in plus like 60 pips on this currency pair, and I bought at this point here after the breakout of those swing highs. This happened basically the bad dairy price index. I think it was minus 3.1% dairy price in New Zealand. Then the Draghi said that there is an even possibility that they decrease the QE program and so on. So there is a lot of speech there, and that boosted this higher. So there is a fundamental reason behind this move. So I jumped, my pending order got filled this. So if you follow my work on the journal, you probably know that I'm bullish here. I secure position the very like 6-7 hours after the setup, after I triggered the setup, right? Right now the supply came in, so it still may go to potential revisit the swing highs or something like that. But anyway, I have the stop loss here on the break even, so the price go there. I will not lose anything. My target, my main target is 1.5820. Okay, so probably since we broke also the 50 here, so we clearly, this is potentially going to to close on break even, but there is also some support, so the price needs to go and break this, right? So this is the short term. The most recently I found the USD. This is the interesting, right? And I alerted this on my I alerted about this on my journal, right? So I posted this selling here, and it's working, as it works very good so far, right? So the main reasoning why I alerted people to sell, look for selling opportunities in this particular setup. The main reason is basically because of this climax and the supply came in. So and actually the reason behind this upward movement is also important. Pardon. This is a 30-minute time frame, okay? So this bullish bar of 85 pips happened when the Draghi said that there is a potential lowering of QE program. There is a speculation there and so on and so on, okay? Then the demand came in aggressively, right? Now let's observe the close of this bar. Very important. Where this bar closed. This bar closed well off the high, right? So it closed like 25 pips off the high, the highest high of this bar. And this is for sure that supply came in. It must be, right? If the bar closing like well off the high, it must be that supply came in, supply came in and the bar closed here in the middle, well of the high, right? And look at the volume, very important. This is the tick volume of the forex, right? But this is the largest volume spike here. But then to collect even more information, I will bring you my futures USD chart, right, on the futures market. So just give me a second. Yeah, this one. You see this one, right? Pardon, just a second. Right, so you see this bar here, right? You see this bar. Look at the volume there. This is the same bar. So here I will take this course, right? So this is representing this bar on the FX on the FX market. But this is a futures market, and this volume is actually the real number of the contracts traded on the futures market. And look at this. Look at that spike. Look at the volume there. Look at the volume. Look at the volume on this. Just a second. This is the volume. 63,370 contracts traded in this particular 30 in this 30 minutes bar, let's say, right? So this is the absolutely climatic action on the short-term perspective, right? At least in the few days we will see the weakness, at least, right? But we don't trade according to one bar. Okay, the supply came in, but what's the very important thing is to see the changing in trend dynamic, changing in dynamic, that we confirming the price confirms the topping. And because we got this supply came in, this is the weakness, right? So when the weakness appears on the up bars, right, not on the down bar. So the clearly key sign of this is the climatic action. The supply came in, ultra high volume activity, and the very next bar is downward. It's a down bar, right? So if there is a real buying power from the real professionals, institutions, the price, first of all, the bar shouldn't close well the high, and the next bar shouldn't be the supply bar in also high volume, like 90k contracts traded, right? But as you know, the price needs the time to distribute, and it's not, you cannot trade just because of one bar or something. You need to see the changing in the trend dynamic, right? So you need to see some kind of topping action before you want to establish. You know that there is a big sign of the weakness, and you know that supply is there and that sellers came in on the market. You just need to be patient to wait and don't rush setups immediately when you see something like this, right? So wait to see what will happen the next day. Wait, see the let's observe the price action and see if there is a real confirmation that the weakness are preparing here and that sellers are ready to distribute this, right? And there is. Now I will back here on the FX. This is a FX market, okay? So you see this some kind of flag here, right? The price. So we see this is the next day. So this is the one day, and then we start. This is when we start a new day here. Price going higher, 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 failing to test the swing high of this bar. But what's interesting here, this is what I posted on my journal on the Forex Factory. I saw the very next day they failed test of supply failed. So there is no real reaction from buyers on this test of supply, and the supply action, this bar confirm, also break out of this channel flag and confirm the failed test, right? So this is already for some investors, and I alerted it exactly in this bar here. I posted it. Be ready and watch for selling opportunities at this point, and be very careful if you plan to buy this currency pair, because this is a very bearish. You know, there is a weakness building here, and I wrote that on my journal. I hope you follow that and that you benefited from this one. So the supply came in here, and as you see, the price broke 21 here, MA, and then later on it broke also this 50 simple moving average, right? And you see the supply, very, very strong supply came in, right? So that was a very good. And today you can also establish position if you didn't enter it yesterday. This was also a good opportunity to sell at this point here. Look at this bar closing in here in the middle, rejection from 21. As we know, we already have topping formation. Look at this, clear changing in trend dynamic, right? Clear changing in trend dynamic from high to low, right? Very, very clean. Backing here into this chart on the futures market, there is the same thing. Look at the supply which came in on this breakout of this channel, and look at this supply. Look at this supply, 19k contracts traded for this in this supply. And then if you go and find this one, look at this bar. That was the highest volume, and for that point for today. It was like 7.5k contracts traded, but bar finished in the middle. So this is where you can establish position. Okay, and that weakness right now continues as long we don't see any big sign of strength and we see the reversal signal. This can be so this weakness is building here, right? Key points to watch there. So if you sold at this point when I alerted you, or at this point here, you should be in the plus for about 50 pips on the EURUSD, right? And the stop loss was maybe like 25-30 pips max here. You know, depend where you took, like 25-30 pips. So you will be in the plus like 1-2, 1-3 ratio for sure if you follow with my recommendation, right? And this is what will be also critical. We broke the first reaction swing low. This is a good. We're going probably to test this swing low, right? And if the price breaks this one, we can go lower and lower and lower, right? So we follow just market dynamic. Try to see the reasoning behind this, right? And to try to understand the market sentiment and read the price action. This is what's trading about. Collecting new informations, following the reasons behind this, for example, spikes and this, for example, this spike because of that Draghi sentence basically, and because they mail over the Q program or something, you know, that was the boost for euro versus the dollar. As we know, the dollar is very strong fundamentally, right? So this is a just temporary spike reaction on this speech of Draghi, right? And we saw that climatic action, and we recognize this weakness very also in the futures market, confirmed that changing in trend dynamic, and any place at this area where if you establish position you are in the right way if you sold. But I you know, I was amazed when I saw when the euro dollar spiked like this, and I saw that people are trying to buy, you know, buy the dips after this spike, and that, and for example now they see that they're totally wrong. You know, the smart money basically sold, and we saw that massive sign of weakness and climax in this bar, and later on in the next price action, what happened in the next period, the very next day after this climax, there is a absolutely we collected information we needed, and we could establish position here at this point, and you know, this was very good. Right now price is going to lower now, right now it's very late to do anything, right? Price is already going lower, and this was already 60 pips away, 60 to 40 pips away from entries. So, and you don't want to enter if you trade like intraday, right, or very short-term perspective. You don't want to establish position to sell on the down bars, on the large down bars, or buy on the large up bars, right? Because again, weakness appears on the up bars, strength appears on the down bars. So, you know, that's the key rule. Also, you know, the price action, the volume price action in the volume analysis as well. So that's what I wanted to alert you about. My mentorship program is what I will teach you, what you will learn is actually my way of trading and how I combine short-term trading and intraday trading to near-term trading. When I see some good opportunities, they don't happen every time, so don't be let's say don't be blind like that. I mean, the qualitative setups don't appears every day. It's not at all. The qualitative setups they happen only when something big volatility, when we see some big volatility, something big happen, and then the investors and smart money, they're interested in trading FX, right, and futures as well. They're not interesting if there is nothing big there in the price action, nothing big, there is no big liquidity in the market and so on. They want to see something big, you know. That's usually that's 99% a fundamental, so, or some speech or some big missing in the readings on the news or stuffs like that, and then they want to establish position. For example, this is about USD, but if you, for example, check my Euro New Zealand dollar, you see price trying to close me on the break even, but so far successfully rejecting here. Anyway, this setup was based on the accumulation, and because of that bad New Zealand news, right, following by this Draghi speech, that's what created this sign of strength, right? So that's the reason behind this particular setup. But again, I said it will close here on the break even, and that will be pretty much all. I took the British pound, very strong return there, catch like 270 pips. If this close here, I will exit on the break even. Meanwhile, I saw again that USD was very qualitative setup to short, you know, try to short there, and that was very qualitative. The first entry, aggressive entry in my opinion, but not without, you got information you needed at that point as well was this area here. That was the first aggressive entry. If you waited the very next day, the entry happened. If you traded, for example, Asia session, you got some entries at this point, and on the London session speaking, this is the entry exactly bar you want to enter there. You know, this confirming the weakness. So you got, you know, depend where are you located, you know, depending which region you trade. You got here first trade, the most aggressive, but still got technically correct. And if we speak about the sentiment and informations in that point that we could collect, we got quite good informations we need from the price action and also for the fundament in the background, right? So this wasn't according to that so aggressive, right? This was a 25 pips risk, and this will be, you will be right now in plus like 55 pips. You will be 1-to ratio at this point here, and of course you can secure position at that point, you know, and let's to see how much it can go, or you can close on 1-to ratio. So it depends of your style, and you know, and so on. Then the very next entry was this on the Asia session, this area here. We got some up trust here, some no demands here. So this was the next entry, again similar stop loss. And then on the London session today, this was the entry, right? You got some entries at this point, but this is already, you know, so far away from this area, you know. If you place here stop loss, that's a little tricky and so on, because price can go revisit that and so on and so on. So this is already late at this point, in my opinion, and right now it's very, very late, right? And this is the potential strength came in. I mean potential, we are still in strong weakness in the background. There is no absolute trading by that, but again, this is not area we want to sell right now. This here rectangles I marked here are good areas to establish sell position according to this example on the USD. If you want to start my mentorship program, my advice is you to absolutely, so you can add me on the Skype. I will write my Skype username in the description of the video. If you like the video and if you like my way of trading, you can absolutely comment on the video, and subscribe my YouTube channel for the new updates, because there is some potential good setups. They're coming. I'm watching and observing currencies, and you know, I'm also doing the stock market, so I watch the two markets since I'm also trade the stock market. So you know, I will absolutely teach you. If you start my mentorship program, it's a 7-day course where we work like 4 or 5 hours per day, day by day. Then we got new subject, and then we collect the last 2 days. So that program we collect everything and put into the real trading. You know, what's the professional trading about? That'll be all for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Wish you good trading and have a nice day.